This work is not a standing alone person work. I've done this actually with my colleague from the GRC, Rosanna Di Gioia, and she's a psychologist. Rina Vuorikari, and she's from Finland, and she is a pedagogist. And Anka Ravenku, which is here among us, from the Institute of Sociology in Romania. She's a sociologist. And myself, I'm a geographer who had a background also in science and technology teaching, and who turned into a sociologist in the last 10 years. So, just a few words about the Joint Research Centre. It's the European Commission Science and Knowledge Service. What does that mean? It means that we do research for the policy. We are independent, we don't have an agenda in itself, and we work for the 20 DGs that are behind the European Commission. The site of the GRC, actually, we are split in 5 different locations, and the main one is in Italy, in Espra, near Milan, on Lago Maggiore, and this is where I usually sit behind my desk. So here, this is what we will talk about today. Why is it important to consider young children's digital skills in the first place? What is DIGCOM 2.0? What are the analysis of evidence of young children's digital skills against this DIGCOM telling us? And what scientific-based knowledge can we learn for policy? So starting from the first item. Why is it important to consider young children's digital skills? Well, you will not be surprised if I tell you a little story about our big and fascinating study, which is an exploratory qualitative study across Europe. We issued already one report, and the one that you see in big there is under draft, but very last draft. It has been uploaded on Academia under my profile yesterday. It should have the last version. If you find any misspelling or tweaks, we still have a few days to correct them, but otherwise it should be live and available by the end of this month. So it's a 3 years project. We had 3 phases, one pilot, an enlargement study that enlarged the country 7 to 21, and then a second round of interviews in 10 countries. We had more than 60 researchers helping us in that, 31 research centers. We interviewed through 234 families, 462 children, 400 parents, lots of publications behind, and actually lots of collaboration within this room today. So once again, thank you very much, and we would like to applaud them. So what are the main and key findings that we had is that digital technology is only a part of the life of children, which are very varied and lively, and supported by parents. Children learn copying the grown-ups. It's valid for everything, and it's valid for digital technology too. Children engage in digital technology for 4 purposes. The first one is leisure. Leisure, getting entertained, looking at videos, doing video games. They also create, in some extent. They learn, they get information, and they communicate. They also communicate through social network as early as the age of 6 years old in our son. Parental mediation are concentrated in, let's say, 4 big areas. Parents look at the time children spend on screen. They look in lesser extent to the content they use. Some parents invest in supporting those actions, and little less even known still are actually co-using digital activity with them. What do we see? In fact, is that less knowledgeable parents are more inclined to limit either the time and the content. And more knowledgeable parents are more inclined to support the use of digital technology and to use it with their children. So really we have the gatekeepers on one side and the scaffolders on the other. What we found also is that those mediation strategies, those parenting styles, are very much linked with their own perception of digital technology. The more the parent has a positive perception of the digital technology, the more permissive they will be. The more negative the perception will be, the more restrictive it will be. We have also a category which is the laissez-faire category, which probably linked more with a lack of knowledge, resources, and time. So those parents have no choice but to invest in something else, but the mediation of their children. What we found also is the importance of school. School indeed supports the positive view of parents regarding technology. Parents are more inclined to find digital technology positive if they see positive usage of digital technology at school, especially if children come back at home with homework that requires them to use digital technology. Then, at that time, parents are inclined to sit down with their children, open the laptop, and do things together. So the key findings are those ones. Children acquire digital skills mainly at home for the time being in our sample, because very little has been done at school so far, except in Nordic countries. They do it in autonomy, individually, and mirroring the adults. Parenting style and mediation depend on digital competences and perceptions. So that leads to have children's digital skills very patchy and more or less risky, as we will see. So the conclusion was digital literacy and developing digital literacy at preschool is crucial for mitigating those risks and increasing the opportunities. Also with the prospect to build an harmonious digital society. So this is why we looked more in depth into the digital skills of the set of data we collected during this data collection. Recommendations? I think I will leave that for later. Okay. What is DigiCom 2.0? So you might came across it or might not. There are several different frameworks regarding digital skills and digital competences around. But here is the one that we choose, not only because it's a GRC baby, but also because we really think that it covers most of the area that we were looking at, if not all. So first of all, so far we have talked about digital skills, but actually we should talk about digital competence. Why so? Because digital competence involves the confident and critical use of ICT, in this case for employment, learning, self-development, and participation in society. That implies, in fact, to have knowledge, to have skills, and also to contemplate different attitudes. So being proactive, being positive, is also considered as an element that builds digital competences. So the DIGCOM is already a several years story. It started in 2013, it has been revised in 2016, and now we have a lovely, I have a copy here. So a revision of DIGCOM 2.10. It's really worth to look at it, so I'm leaving it on the table if you want to have a great because you can open things, you can discover things inside. I tease your curiosity there, I hope. So, but basically, what does the DICOM 2.0 say? It looked at 5 different areas. So, what is important for digital literacy and digital skills and digital competence is information and data literacy, communication and collaboration, digital content creation, safety, and finally, problem solving. There are 5 areas distincted in 21 competences. So now if we take this framework, which has been built for adults, not for children, what will emerge if we compare that framework with the data we collected? Well, first of all, information and data literacy. The first competence is browsing, searching, filtering data, information, and digital content. The second is evaluating data, information, and digital content. And the third one is managing data, information, and digital content. So here, a Belgian girl, age 5, said, "When I want to watch a video on YouTube, I need help from my mom. Or sometimes I tap something small and then it is there already and I click on it." A mother, still in Belgium, of a boy age 7, he says, "He looks up YouTube video about Minecraft, how he can get to the next level, for example. He's self-educated when it comes to that." An extract from the Portuguese report says, "Last year, a parent of a boy aged 7 shared that he would get very nervous when he played, especially when he couldn't go to the next level. The situation has changed as he found how to play the games and solve this problem on his own." In this case, it's one of the boys that has been interviewed 2 times. So he has been interviewed the first time, he was 7, and now during this report, he was 8. In Spain, the researcher asked, "So, to use mobile correctly in a way that it works fine, what do you need to know?" And the girl, age 7, said, "Well, for instance, don't install stuff that I won't use, as when you buy clothes that you don't wear, it is silly. Or recently, I did not have space in my mobile, or my mother uploaded all my mobile's photo on her laptop, and this is a way to make a bit of space." So some words are missing, but this is what she said. So, right now, I just would like to know, because I think you all come across children, you all had some experience of yourself. Just during 2 or 3 minutes, table by table, discuss about those skills with practical and maybe example that you came across. And then we will see what we found, so that maybe we can see some commonalities or differences. If you want to. I will start with what we have discovered and what our analysis came with, and then I will open the floor for more comments about what you just discussed right now. So what we have discovered is this. Children are enacting searching strategies out of the reading and writing. Sometimes with help, but sometimes not. They just recognize images. They are helped with the auto completion of researchers or search engines or platforms. They recognize sound sometimes. So they are very quickly autonomous sometimes. They are very well aware of the search possibilities and they have expectations. So if they do not find what they want, then it can be dramatic. And surely they are driven by their own interest, which is entertainment at first, but also information and also learning, especially when they grew up.
we saw the difference very much between the age 6, 7, and 8 and 9. They were really looking at video that helped them to solve problems, to learn tricks, but also things not only on digital technology itself, but to learn how to ride a motorcycle, how to build a special Lego construction, those kind of things. So, any comments from the Katia? Yeah.
May I ask you whether the children work in a kind of filtered surrounding? Did you have any filter programs, or could they use the whole internet?
Well, it really depends from a family to another, because maybe I didn't mention it clearly, but all their interviews and observation that we have done were in their own context. So in certain families, the access was very open, and in others, the access were very limited. And in families where you have more open access, you have also more opportunities to learn than the others. It's more risky, but it's more interesting in some for the exploratory part of their quest. Shall I continue? Yeah. So, if we take those, coming back to the three different skills, and if we take color code, saying that in green the kid is able to do things unassisted, in orange they need some assistance, or in red it's not able to do it, or unaware of something. So we see that browsing and searching is very much something that they can do very quickly alone, as I said. They have little capacities of evaluating data on their own. Usually they need the parents behind so that they can say, oh, this video is okay, this one is not. And managing data is something that they are not aware of most of the time, although we had a couple of children that already were able to save files on a device and be able to be there, able to retrieve the data later on. So the second area, communication and collaboration. In this area, you have 5 different digital skills, or competences, let's say. So the first one is interacting through digital technologies. Second, sharing through digital technologies. Third, engaging in citizenship through digital technologies. The fourth is collaborating through digital technologies. And the fifth one is netiquette. Here we have an extract of the Romanian report that I choose because it's very much illustrating what could come across all the samples. Children that already own smartphones may use instant chat apps such as WhatsApp or Messenger with their parents and close family. They can exchange text enabled by effective vocal recognition, voice messages, emojis, pictures, and video. So indeed, especially children that already own their smartphone are actually very easily embedded in family communication skills. And they find their own language to communicate with others, with family members, but also sometimes with peers. This was particularly the case in Bulgaria, where out of 10 children, we had 7 being already the owner of a Facebook account. In Norway, we have a girl aged 10, so she's one of the older siblings that were bysiders, so that were interviewed at the same time as the youngest. But she had taught her entire family about netiquette, which she learned at school. So here, what we see is that we have children that are exposed to practice and they again imitate those practices. Some ownership of personal account already, they can use it independently for communicating and collaborating with others, although the collaboration might be very basic, but we had some evidence of that. And when I say facilitator of face-to-face communication, what do you think I mean? That's my question for this one. So, facilitator of face-to-face communication. To help you, maybe, if you recall the talk of this morning, we saw in the three different presentations that not only children were learning coding and problem solving, but they were also learning how to interact with each other around the technology. So not only the technology helped them to understand and to interact with the technology and through the technology, but also around it. And this is what we have now with the color coding. So they are very good at interacting and sharing. Digital collaboration is more around technology than within technology. Netiquette is nearly absent, except when school clearly was behind. And engaging in citizenship through digital technology is completely a concept that doesn't touch children at all, which is not very surprising actually. The third area, digital content creation. Here we have 4 different skills: developing digital content, integrating and re-elaborating digital content, copyright and licenses, and programming. So we saw this morning that programming could be something effective from very early age if supported. But let's see what we could see in the home context. So a Romanian girl, age 6, used an app to create puzzles from the photos she already has in her mother computer. Another one used to draw with the help of an online game, but didn't save her creation. The Danish report. In this family, for instance, small programmable robots are used for birthday parties, and all the family members actively take part in producing videos or other ways of expressing themselves creatively through and with digital media. So here again, we have the support of helpers, in this case the parents. Dad likes it when his girl, and they are aged 10 and 7, they do some of the things that he does, such as coding, computing programs. You do coding via the internet, says the girl. It's a way to update robots and such things, she says. But Dad has tried to teach the girls coding with not much success, though. Indeed, that's the main ingredient. They will learn if they are interested to learn, not just because you provide them with the possibility to. In Switzerland, a mom showed her daughter, age 9 already, to use Microsoft Word to create birthday invitation. Combination of picture and text, and the girls show fascination for the possibilities in computer programs and use it for writing stuff. And so here she was interested in doing it. Here, Croatian mother, exactly the same situation, but the girl is not interested, so she dropped it. So, what we can see, they can develop digital content, they can do pictures, videos, they can create avatars, sorry for the typos, usually for themselves or sometimes just for the sake of the novelty. But then the wave of novelty will fade very quickly. Some are interested in using already words or text program software. Some are interested in doing coding, but with helpers, because without them, they cannot do it then by themselves. Some go beyond and aim to create objects for the public diffusion, and especially when they are very passionate about something. So if they are already a member of a legal community, sorry, legal it's everywhere, or Minecraft community, then they will build themselves something with the help of parents, and they will upload the object on social network most of the time, where they could have feedback from the community of the people that share the same passion as them. So very few with help pass from one form to another form, so from one media to another media. This is already very much elaborated skills, and definitely they will need help for that. And some are into programming, they like coding robots, but again no, but it's something that is important. It has its physicality, as we saw this morning, right? So to be able to retrace the pattern of coding. So here, this is what we have. We have children that are able to develop digital content. They are, to some extent, able to integrate and re-elaborate this content. Copyright and licenses are, again, in the limbus, and probably not a surprise. Although they know very well which app is free and which app is to be paid to be able to use. So this is the paradigm that the parents are providing them with behind is not really being copyrighted or licensed, but is it free or not? And parents will go for free content. And programming, they can read, but with assistance. So maybe here the question that I would pass to you would be, how can we have parents and little children thinking about copyright? Is it interesting to them first? Is it important? Or how can we, if it is important, how can we have them considering this dimension? 5 minutes.
I would be really eager to hear about what you have discussed, because I think the matter is important.
Yes, after Stephane? Yes,
Was it this table?
I will be very short. We were discussing that the concept of copyright is very different in the law and in people's minds. And also the legal systems are very different from one country to the other. That was the discussion, basically.
And perhaps to yes, it's all that, and that the conception of copyright has changed very much. We all, the young people, think it's creative to take things and combine it in a new way, and the old way asks, is this really creativity? So I think we think that's a big discussion, and we should think about it, and perhaps have to change our concepts of creativity.
Unfortunately, the European Parliament will decide on it tomorrow. Unfortunately, the European Parliament will decide on it for us tomorrow.
Okay. So, fourth area, which is safety. And being part of the digital security citizen unit inside the GRC, you can guess that took a lot of my energy and my attention. So here we have 4 different skills and competences and knowledge and attitude behind this. So protecting the device at first, protecting personal data and privacy, protecting health and well-being, and protecting the environment. So here, this is what we can retrieve from a Portuguese report. I say the second report because it's the second interviews field work. So here is what they say. Another novelty. All the children succeeded in explaining what passwords are. So they are 8 now, right? Referring to them as a code. So a Portuguese girl that was 7 during the first interview, now is 8. If someone steals your smartphone and it has a password, the thief won't be able to find out. I'm sorry, I have issues with some letters. And this is what another Portuguese boy said. About viruses, they have less accurate perception. They say it's something that stays in the technology. And this one is 9. And he says it ruins the devices. Still in Portugal and in Norway. Mom, you didn't ask me about this. You don't have permission. You can't post these photos there. And you're not going to post that on Facebook, are you? Girls are very much attached to their images, as we could see in the sample. In Romania, a boy aged 8 said it's being careful not to share. The report says about him that he has been careful not to share personal information while using already forums on Facebook and Minecraft groups. That was the boy I was referring to previously. And in Latvia, okay, a tablet should not be used much because otherwise it damages the eye. She's 6. In Lithuania, a boy aged 7 said, all parents limit the time spent on a computer because it is harmful for our eyes. All of us, parents and the 3 children, have eyeglasses, except the cat and the A Croatian boy says, too much TV and computer can make you crazy. And a Spanish girl said, I don't want to be a technology addict. In Belgium, researchers said parents indicate that the time a girl aged 7 can spend on the computer is limited. They use a cooking clock to indicate when it is time to stop. I really wonder how efficient this timing clock was at the end. When there is an advert in a video, that's a very interesting thing because so far what we have seen is that parents are there to limit something. But here a boy says, when there is an advert in a video, then I look for another thing to do. Most of the time I walk to the kitchen, count to 10 and walk back to see if it is ready yet. So this boy has solved this problem. He's annoyed by the advert, he does something else. Here we have examples from Latvia, which are quite interesting. So it's a mother that says, there has been already a situation, an unpleasant experience, when some stranger sent her a message to the girl which is age 7. But I have also told her about telephone, that she can receive calls from unknown phone numbers, and she will definitely not pick them up. There was one time when the phone rang, and I picked it up, and it was Byte. So maybe the people from Latvia in the audience can tell us what Byte is, because I looked at it and I was not sure if it's a telecom communication.
Yeah, this is still a communication.
Yes, I could bet with it.
B.
Yes. Right. Then I told them that it is a child's phone number and asked them not to call anymore. In the portal drogium.lv, which is yes, thank you. Exactly. So it has been running still till 2004. So she doesn't open messages, and if she sees that the person is a stranger, she calls me first. That time the message contained a request for her email and password. After that I wanted to log in and take a look, but the platform was already blocked. Probably many other people had received such messages, and someone had notified that it is not normal, someone had already blocked it. So here, parents are reporting experiences that can be indeed putting the safety of children at risk. And lastly, this Bulgarian mother of a girl aged 7 said, "This 7-year-old hacker broke into my laptop without knowing my password. I told the sysadmin at my work, and all he could say was that he could not comprehend what was happening with these kids." Well, what was happening was quite easy. She tried, and she succeeded. And actually, in this case, what happened is that she discovered that by calling her mother on the Viber account, the app will automatically open the laptop by itself, by passing the password. So she just could seize the opportunity there. So, do you want to speak about those kind of things? Or we have 10 minutes more? Maybe. Yes? Just adding 2 minutes. Do you have experiences of something that goes against what we see already today, or is it very much in line with what you have experienced yourself?
Can I ask, Stephane, did you find much difference across countries in relation to this? Whether children in some countries were more able to navigate? I'm thinking about in-app purchases, so what we did a study in the UK, and we found that children actually very soon got lost in the in-app purchases. It got them to websites, they couldn't get back to the app, and it really spoiled the sort of level of gameplay.
Well, what we found was very much in line with the ladder of opportunities that has been, the concept that has been developed by Competence with older children. So we found the same elements for younger children. Open access, less restricted access will increase opportunities, although it may increase also the risk, but at the same time they will develop more skills that will enable them to be resilient, even at that age. So they have already strategies to show that they will, like this boy, run in the kitchen, come sit till 10 and then come back, just to not being exposed to commercial pressure. Other will just close the laptop and scream, "Mommy!" if something happened. But it's closing the app is a limitation itself, but it's a prevention measure, surely. And this is what they can do at that time. Yeah. So between countries, well, if you have countries where positive perception of digital technology is more common, then usually the parents are more open to let the children be explorators than others. Yeah.
I'll just give you an anecdote as I'm walking. Your case study of the advert reminded me, had an Indian colleague who said that the first words her 2-year-old nephew said was "skip advert."
I just wondered about whether you, I could get to go back to what you were saying about gender and images. I wondered whether that was something that you'd seen in the data, that girls were behaving differently towards their parents' use of their images than boys, or whether that was what in particular it was about the images, whether girls were sort of saying, yes, you can put images, but I want control, or there just seemed to be a bit more maybe you could say.
Well, I don't think that our sample would be large enough to take conclusions on that. Definitely not. We had 3 cases of children reporting, being aware of personal data. 2 were girls, 1 was a boy. I don't think we can say anything about this at this stage, but definitely can happen. I mean, I had the question in my mind, so this probably is worth to look at. Right? So we see that passwords are a concept that children are grasping quite easily and very quickly, especially when they try to guess the password of their parents so that they can have access to a device. What we saw as well is that we had children that were the owner of either a smartphone or a laptop, and themselves put the passwords so that the other member of the family could not access their devices to protect them and to protect the content. So here we have a reverse situation where parents are banned from children devices so that the children activities are protected from the grown-ups. So few of children show concerns on protecting personal data, as we said before, only 3. And one definitely show this capacity because of the school. Because school was behind to tell and at her turn she tell her parent that they cannot post something, a picture of her on a social network. Majority of children show concerns on protecting health and well-being, as we saw, but there it's the parents' words, it's the parents' influence behind. And none of them show concern on protecting the environment. Sometimes they are eager to have the battery lasting longer, but it's a correlated effect, but not an aim in itself. So now we need the 5th area, which is problem solving. So 4 different competences there: solving technical problems, identifying needs and technological responses, creatively using digital technologies, and identifying digital competence gaps. So here, this is what we could retrieve. From the Romanian report, a boy age 7 said, "I recall a game that he wanted to play, but the 3 games that were installed at the moment of the interview occupy all the phone's memory. So for downloading and installing the game, he had continuously evaluated what to delete in order to, 1, have enough space, 2, accommodate his brother's wish. In the end, he managed to have the game installed and play it in front of the researcher." In Latvia, our 3-year-old son just started using the smartphone. We do not know how he learned. Some games he just learned how to play by himself, interacting with the smartphone. So that seems a repetition, but indeed it's the ground of it. In Slovenia, a mother of a girl age 7 says, "She calls out to me, and it often happens that I do not have the time, so she's trying for a long time until she manages by herself." In Romania still, a Romanian boy who developed a strategy that helped him to keep track of acts he found in online tutorials about playing Minecraft that will later on help him to create better and quicker in his game. It's actually the same boy as before. And another one, age 7, creates, with the help of his father, a movie that documents one of his Lego creations using a stop-motion app, although at that moment his father enters in life. So here we see that problem solving, as already underlined in the 3 talk of this morning, is really a transversal competence that use much more than only problem solving in itself. Some children can solve basic technical problems, and some of those children are considered as experts of the family already. In this case, the lack of parental mediation and the lack of parental knowledge, skills and competences create an opportunity for children to develop their own competences. They can all identify competence gaps, and with help, they can be creative with digital technology. So here we have a much more green area than the other 4 areas. They can do a lot by themselves, but I really think they can do even more if we support them. So here are our key findings that answer to this question. What are the analysis of evidence of young children's digital competences, right, against digital DICOM 2.0? Regarding information and data literacy, we have little experts. They can be self-learners and self-troubleshooters. We have young communicators, although this implies major risk. We have young digital creators if they have some support and if they are interested in this kind of expression. For safety, they have some skills, but they lack of agency. They don't know. They may know how to use a password, but they don't know why they use a password. And regarding problem solving, it is actually the basis of their learning. It's by trying, failing, and succeeding. And those conditions actually may increase opportunities when they are facing limitations. So when they are constrained by the technology itself, they find solutions. So children acquire digital skills mainly at home, as we said. We ask for the development of digital literacy and principles efforts to mitigate the risk and increase the opportunities. So, now, what scientific-based knowledge for policy? Because at the end of the day, this is my work. Retrieve data, analyze them, and then provide recommendations for policy so that we live in a better society. Not only us, but especially our children. So, what are your ideas? Yeah, 5 minutes. You can discuss. Think about what we have seen this morning regarding this. Think about a digital a DICOM for children. Would it be useful? If yes, what would it need to be like? Those kind of things. Yes.
Your question is very topical, and it's something that we're really grappling with the work that we're doing. As I said, in Australia, our curriculum document starts at 5-year-olds, 5 to 17-year-olds, and we only have these very loose guidelines. So what we've done in our project is we've really been unpacking what we expect a 5-year-old to do when they start the formal schooling system, and unpacking it to what do we think are the capabilities of a 3 and 4-year-old in this space of digital technologies. Our colleague of mine is doing something similar with 0 to 2-year-olds. So it's then in terms of, so we've done some unpacking and we have some descriptors for digital technologies. But the biggest problem we're having is the language. It doesn't speak to early childhood educators. The examples that we're working with are still at too high a level. So it's also something we're grappling with, because our educators are looking for support. Where do we look? What are we looking for? How do we know when we have evidence of what a child's doing? So yeah, they're asking for the support.
So one one of the things we were talking about at our table is that we have a bit of a chicken egg issue when we're talking about using scientific evidence to inform policy, because we need policy now, right, to help guide practice. But it takes us a really long time to get an empirical evidence base. And by the time we actually do the research to meet sort of the criteria of having a substantive evidence base, the technology's already shifted and changed, and policy's moved on. So we're sort of caught in that conundrum. So sort of the tendency oftentimes by policymakers is to uphold the credence while then do no harm, which means a protectionist orientation. And then the protectionist orientation then tends to then limit access and resources in our formal structures, which means schools, so that those children who have access to technology and resources in home or in their enriched environments get to have all this opportunity to engage with these new resources in novel sorts of ways. And it's our children who come from under-resourced communities who are then again disadvantaged because they don't have access at home, they don't have access at school, they don't have access in their community. So it really is a problem that we're sort of scrambling to design an evidence base, but we can't do it with the speed and urgency. You know, that's our scientific process doesn't even allow us, our funding process doesn't allow us to do it with the speed and urgency to meet the policy needs and demands. So we have to somehow figure out how to negotiate that tension of the best knowledge and reasoning we have in the moment to help guide policy, but at the very least, so we don't continue to perpetuate this have-nots sort of continuum that's happening.
Can I add something to that? As we're discussing the do no harm approach to policy, it can be this restrictive approach of, for example, banning from schools, but also do no harm can be restricted as little as possible because we don't really know. So doing no harm can also be very little policy because things are changing so quickly.
Okay, I think that's probably have to be our last point, I'm afraid, just some timing. Stephane, do you want to respond now?
Well, basically, I just would like to conclude on this. We don't know yet how we will do it, but we will need it. We desperately need it, actually. We need to build digital literacy curriculum. We need to build digital didactics for young children. We need to find a way to have teachers embracing those technology and finding interesting and meaningful activities in their class. We have examples, but now we need to find ways to have them percolating deeper and not only among the nerd teachers. And definitely a framework like the Competence children may help to harmonize those actions at a European level, and also will help to avoid having children left on the side of the digital transformation. Thank you very much.